Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Etiquette for Dangerous Women podcast. We're in season 3 right now, and this is Jamie, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you this morning as I begin a new week with some insights about what part I play in all the things that are coming to pass in my life and the world around me. Current situation in my world this spring is I have a lot going on. There are professional things, personal things, and passion things that I'm involved in, and it seems like spring is when everything opens up and begins functioning at full force again, and I sometimes feel a little overwhelmed by this. And God's been working with me over a period of time, years really, to assure me that He's got this. And I think it's been a balance of trying to understand what part do I play in this whole life that God's presenting before me and inviting me into, and what part does He play, and how do we sort those out together? And I am increasingly beginning to finally understand and see that God keeps trying to tell me through His Word, through the experiences that I'm having, that He actually does it all, like as in it is finished, like as in you don't play a part of any of this lest anyone should boast. Lest anyone should boast, I feel like that keeps coming back to me in a reminder that none of it is actually my part. And I think that's really hard to sit with and to think it's true being a human. Like, none of it. So even when it comes to what Jesus did for us to redeem us and bring us back into connection with the Father, which I think it's really clear that we don't actually play any part in that process either. He came to earth. He lived His life with us, did not sin, and then was unjustly killed, was raised again, and now is seated at the right hand of the Father. And we are called to live in that freedom, redemption, and sacrifice. And even in that, we didn't actually play any part of it. So sometimes what I feel like we try to figure out is, so then like, what do we do? And a lot of the messaging that I have heard that I think is pretty common, and I'm starting to question because I'm not sure it actually lines up with what I'm learning when I'm reading Jesus's words. I'm trying to go into the Bible and ask God to show me what He's really saying, not just my assumptions or the ways that I've come to it with the kind of lenses and glasses that I have just from my cultural experiences. And it's like I keep hearing, when are you going to understand you don't play any part in this? I've done it. It is finished. I did it for you. That's the love I've shown for you. And the one part I feel like we keep thinking we play is to believe and to have faith. So even though by grace we are saved through faith, it is a gift from God. I'm starting to see clearly, well, not even clearly, more clearly, slowly, that even the faith is a gift from God. We don't even have the faith we need or have to somehow muster it. And I've been realizing recently that when I think I carry one tiny sliver in the equation, I've ruined the whole thing. So if it's like, yes, I've done this redeeming work for you on the cross, and I brought you to the Father, but you have to accept this with faith and believe, like, that's your part. Good luck with that. quite honestly, I see that as really deeply concerning. And I realize also, looking back, that there has been a lot of years I spent younger that I didn't know this was an issue. But deep down, one of my real fears was knowing, do I have enough faith? Do I really believe it? Because you can say you believe something because you want to believe it, and still, that's not the actual truth. And so, facing the truth that I may not be sure, or I might have doubts, or I may not believe, now does that mean that I'm not redeemed? That I don't expect to spend eternity with God? And so, God has been walking me through a lot of those questions, one at a time as we journey together. But this week I've sat with the idea that I keep hearing that it is my faith that saves me. Because really, if Jesus did 99.5% of it, and 0.5% is my faith, then I'm still saving me. So then what do we do with that? Because it seems to fly in the face of what I have grown up with and been taught. But if I can say that it's at least point whatever tiny percentile is my faith that gets me through the door, then I can boast about my faith. If I wanted to, of course we can say, no, we're going to be more humble than that. But in the end of the day, I think that's this huge crux. And if we're not aware of it, I think it seeps in everywhere. And where it affects my week of feeling overwhelmed with all the things going on is that I feel like, yes, God, you're going to take care of things and you have a plan for my life and all that. However, I have to do my part, even if it's a tiny part. And the truth is, sometimes even that tiny part is overwhelming. To imagine how I'm supposed to even do the sliver of little part that's left for me to do, I'm not sure if I have what it takes. And probably on my own, I don't. So when we say like Jesus did it all, or that Jesus is everything, or that he has this finished work, are we really saying that and really believing it? Or are we saying he has this finished work and did most of it? Now your job is to find the faith and to believe it. Well, we don't even have the faith without God giving us the faith. And I think that leaves us in an insecure position. Is my faith enough faith? I mean, Jesus regularly asked the guys, where's your faith? Do you have enough faith? If you just had a small faith, just mustard seed faith. And it seems to me like us humans have a hard time with even mustard seed faith. So what that means to me today is I'm still in this mystery of what God is doing in the world. And I don't feel like I truly, completely get it, but I'm getting there. And he's walking me through and he's showing me that he have it. He has it all. And I just have to walk with him. He says, follow me, right? And don't be afraid. Those are the things. Tell the truth. And I'm beginning to see increasingly that our job isn't to save ourselves or to make things happen or to have enough faith to be able to believe and receive Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ did this finished work for us, and it is finished. It's not finished pending something that we do, and we can't miss it, because if we could miss it, then that is on us to not miss. So there's no ability to miss this finished work of Jesus. He's just not going to let that happen somehow. That's a mystery to me too. I can't completely unpack all that today, but I can say that he's asked me actively to be honest and tell the truth. So when I feel inadequate or insecure or unsure of myself, one of the things that I can do each morning is to say, hey, Jesus, I don't feel like I've got it together. And then he can remind me of his truth, which is, that's okay. That's not your job. I've got it together. Can you walk with me today? And can you stop carrying a responsibility that is not yours to bear? And can you know that I've given you the ability to respond with me in the moment, in the present, when things come up? You will know what to do. And sometimes I think he walks us increasingly into what that means in the present. So when we're still struggling more at this and new at this, he might give us a little bit more leeway in how he's working things out. But as we grow, I feel like this morning, for example, weird situation, I am basically out of hay. It was unexpected because of a snafu that I hit. So I had a nice plan set all up, and then something changed in that plan that was unexpected. And so I'm like feeding my horses the last bit of their food. And it's not that easy to just grab hay at the grocery store. And so I did have some ideas and some leads, but like this morning I was like laying in bed thinking, I don't know what I'm going to feed my horses today. It's a little stressful. And that was one of the things weighing on me. And it's like God saying, I know, but you don't have to worry about that. And true enough, right before I headed out on this walk, I got a text from one of my sources saying, absolutely, this morning's great. Like, let's work it out. So there was nothing that I could do to fix that situation, but I could believe that it would work out. Now, I would have loved to not be in such a precarious feeling place. I would have loved to fix this in advance so that there's never that like gap or you're just running out when the next batch is coming. Wisdom feels like it tells me to be more prepared. And there's an invitation for me personally. I think Jesus does different things depending on who his children are and what they need to grow in. But he's showing me that I will be able to respond. I will have everything I need to respond in the time I need it and to trust him to walk together through it. And anyway, these are just the things on my heart and mind. But I believe this is a really deep thing that in our Christian lives, how much do we think we are actually producing ourselves? And we might say the words, oh no, I know it's all Jesus. But then we don't actually know because we think it's just a little tiny part us. And the ramifications behind the potential that there is nothing we can do in this finished work except walk along with Jesus. And I think when we do have increasing faith and we do trust in Jesus, the difference may not be the finished work of what he did, but the difference is how we experience life right now. And then we get talking about the wide road and the narrow road, and that maybe that doesn't mean what I thought it meant either. So stay tuned as we unpack some of these things that have really been challenging me this year, to not just look at the religious teachings that I've picked up along my life, but to actually look at the words of Jesus, read the depth of the text, sometimes dig into what the words actually meant in their original language, and ask, do we really understand what Jesus is trying to say to us? And no matter what, I think we can look to his life and his words for guidance deeper than what we might have already been given in our church traditions. So I leave you with this and ask you to spend some time on your own talking to Jesus about this and pray into it. Certainly, I'm not looking to become another religious teacher. I'm asking questions, I'm journeying the road out, and I'm asking for those who want to walk it together, what is your experience? What is God saying to you? And what might be fresher than the things that we have picked up in our experiences and our social and cultural environments? So that's quite a journey. If you want to stay on it with me, stay in touch. Subscribe to my channel or my podcast, and I will try to keep unpacking these things each week, and you can ride along with me and ask some of the same questions, and you may come up with quite different answers when you go to the Father. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful week. Be dangerous in love, and keep digging deeper to find out what God has in store for you.